And welcome to the You Are Here podcast. This is episode 108 of the podcast. Bah, 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 bah. ESPN. Boom. That's it, dude. ESPN, because, you know, it's going to tie in. It's going to tie in, dude. It's going to tie in. This podcast is the realest podcast in the game. You already know the You Are Here podcast.
Yes.
My name is Mike. And you can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube with the video, Anchor.fm, www.youhearepodcast.co. We cannot afford the M. We bring it back. We bring it back.
Center.
Introducing.
Yeah.
David Josephino, my sidekick.
Whoa.
No, I mean my partner in crime.
Bro, I'm not your sidekick.
David Josephino.
If we had to really...
Actor extraordinaire.
If we had to put up a
beautiful
poll,
person, writer.
No, dude.
David, I'm throwing it to you. I want you to introduce our guest, buddy.
Hey,
buddy.
Walter Cronkite. You can't just throw fucking a ton of compliments and then slip in a sidekick comment and just blanket it with compliments,
It's
dude.
all love.
It's not cool, and I'm not the sidekick. It's a 50-50, or I'm 51, you're 49. And that's just me keeping it real.
You're here, Dave. We got a show running.
We got a show today for you. We got a guest, dude. You've seen him before on the podcast. If you've been riding or dying with us, he's been here before. Daniel Blanda, welcome back to the show.
Daniel, let's give it up for Daniel. I said we were going to say Danny, but we said
Daniel. That's his formal name. That's what I want people to go look him up. They look up Daniel Blanda.
True.
You know what I mean?
Daniel, how are we doing today?
I'm well, guys. It's been a year and a half. How's that?
A year and a half since the last time
That's
you came
crazy.
up. You were in the basement with us. You literally were in the basement with us.
That was episode what? 30 something.
30 something.
Wow.
I think that's always interesting when you have such trust in a friend where you're like, yeah, you can drive me to a stranger's basement. I'm cool with this.
That was always crazy, huh?
Literally picked you up, drove you to some random place that you never been before in New Jersey, and brought you to a basement to do a podcast.
I never thought about that.
And you didn't
How
think
weird
twice.
that is.
You just said yes.
We've brought so many people there.
So many women, men, all types, just into a basement that they've never been.
That's a weird sentence.
And most of them never met you
Yeah.
until that day.
It's literally, you could be bringing like a murder in.
Yeah,
But I know you wouldn't do that.
but I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
How you feel, Danny? What's going on, bud?
Good, man. It's another cold day in Boston.
Boston.
Boston, man.
Beantown.
I feel like a New Englander at this point. Like, I'm just happy up here. You know, like this is where I want to be in life. I just want to stay in New England and chill and relax. I don't know.
Dude,
Yeah.
you gotta get to a hockey game. So we gotta make this podcast quick because you're a journalist.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I guess we'll call it that. Yeah.
Busy.
You're a sports journalist.
Busy.
I guess it's kind of become a full-time thing. It was part-time and now it's becoming full-time.
Yeah.
Things keep happening, and I started with one publication and then moved to another. Close to, I think I just hit 1 million views of my articles.
Excuse me? Can we get a clap for him, dude? 1 million views?
Yeah, this is, I've had some fun. We can get into it. I've made a lot of people angry.
Bro, I wanted to ask you about that. Have you made any athletes angry? Any like specific athletes?
I might have one enemy, I don't know if he's seen it or not, but I have a lot of his people come after me. So,
damn.
Is it a Ranger that's on the team right now?
Yeah. I can talk about it because I don't like the guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Wait, let's get into it.
I've never spoken with him personally. I don't have a personal, but I do have a problem with anybody who aggressively supports him because it's such a interesting thing. And there's a player, Tony D'Angelo. I don't know if you've heard the news lately.
I haven't.
No.
Tony D'Angelo has very, very aggressive conservative viewpoints. Aggressively, will show up in the locker rooms with MAGA hats. Will quit Twitter out of solidarity with Donald Trump when he was banned. Called coronavirus a hoax, and whether that's what you believe or not, that's as a writer, I don't care, right?
Yeah.
What I don't is his personality. I don't like that he he gets a penalty and then he throws a tantrum on the ice, and then all of a sudden my team's got another penalty because of his behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like that he got off the ice and he picked a fight with the goalie, allegedly. I don't know what the full details. The team didn't disclose everything. But apparently the goalie then turned around and punched him in the mouth.
Ew.
So
Damn.
I don't like a guy who keeps causing problems. And I don't like that when I bring up the point in my articles that I don't like this individual, that, but also I'm quick to say this isn't a political issue. My comment section is all about
the politics,
calling me another lib writer, calling me, that this is clickbait. Is when I go, literally, that's one paragraph on a 1,200 word article. Like there's fixation, right?
Right.
People are going to want to latch onto, and it's like they hear Tony D'Angelo problem, and they think politics, Trump, and I'm like, I really don't care. A lot of my close friends that I love in life are conservative Trump supporters. That's fine.
Yeah.
What I don't like is that it takes away from the sport that I love. It takes away from the team that I love. And it takes away from being able to do my job in those moments. And what I do like is that those people that are mad keep coming back and giving me more clicks. So that's
keep clicking, haters.
Yeah.
Keep clicking.
That's the name of the game with journalism, I guess.
That's the thing, Danny, I learned is like you as the individual have a say in what you take in, and that's kind of like your vote. So no matter what, if it's your click is a vote, right? Your click to click anyone's articles or anyone's videos or whatever, that's you saying, I want to see this. And that's, if you don't like what that person's putting out, you can just withhold clicks. But that's not what they're doing. They're clicking.
Yeah.
Keep clicking.
And they're probably mad, sending it to their friends, and it's like, can you believe this guy?
Yeah.
I think we've got, we talked about it last time. Everybody's so afraid to upset anybody. Like it's bleeding over to the and like, I'm not even the one saying the upsetting thing. You're just latching on other media. Like I'm not the guy to go like, homophobic, racist, ... And I go, no, his actions would validate that sentence, but in being banned in juniors for calling a teammate the N-word, like things like that. I never say N-word. They've always said racial insensitive comments. Well, you got a 4-game suspension and they've buried it, right? Got traded between 2 teams. I don't bring that stuff up necessarily in the article. You can do that homework. I'm bringing it up now because I'm not on the team anymore.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, so it's like if some publications will not want me to even go near that terrain. It's like, well, how do I tell you the whole story if I don't address that this isn't an isolated incident, right?
Yeah.
I have to say, well, to be clear, we all know X, Y, and Z about the person. That is not why we are talking about X, Y, Z about the person, right?
Right.
I'm looking at, you have to look at the full spectrum of it, but all people hear is X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they attack. So keep clicking.
Dude, I keep clicking, dude.
It's crazy to hear about this. I always wanted to know about the side, like insides of journalism.
Well, me too.
This is,
you're the first journalist we've had on the show, I think, right?
I'm not the guy who's got, doing this in a pandemic was an interesting thing. It's not like I can go over to a rink and ask some questions.
Yeah. You can't go visit the rink and go talk to the guys and interviews and all that. You can't do that.
That's what you laughed at just a second ago. I could care less about anything you just about. Like, I just want to know what you laughed at.
Oh, just now?
Oh, we were doing the live thing.
So the live thing's going on the side, and someone's. So yeah, we're doing it. So go ahead, Mike. Tell me.
All right. So we're also doing. Whoever's in here. Hello.
Hi.
We're doing the podcast right now. You're in the middle of it. We're gonna try to figure out how to incorporate this. We want to have like, while we're recording, to have like a chance for people to be able to put in a question, ask something, put a comment in, like, and us to be able to react to it. We didn't think about when we have a guest, and
we're gonna work that out,
and you can't hear them.
We're gonna work that out.
So we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
But for now,
you can ask us questions, and one of the questions that came in,
the thing we were laughing at.
Where's the beard at? And the beard's gone. If you're watching the YouTube, go watch the YouTube. The beard's gone.
Yeah,
the beard's gone. And I shaved it for Danny Blanda.
Yeah, I have to look presentable. I feel like I'm not professional enough right now. I'm sorry. I apologize, Dan.
I have a hood on. We're just a mess.
No, honestly, I just... it was just so weird. I just saw both of your heads just both go. It was slightly...
that must be not good.
And then Dave just points, just stare, points at wherever it was, and Mike's head just goes down and looks at it.
That doesn't work.
I go, well, now I need to know what that is.
This doesn't work.
Hey, you don't call out my behavior, dude. This is my podcast.
This doesn't work.
Listen.
No,
I'm just kidding, dude. You still got the skills, bro. I see. You're catching all the behavior, huh? I knew Danny. For those who are listening for the first time, hadn't listened to go listen to the first episode Danny was on. It's great. But and there's some funny stories on there about our past, and there's a good one about a play we did together. That's one of my favorites. where Danny did knock the wind out of me on stage. Danny, I knew you before you were even, I think I met you when you started writing for the school. I think that's like around the time where we started kind of talking. Because I've known you as the actor, then as the playwright, then as the film writer, then now as the sports journalist writer. So you've done many things within the past couple of years. But I want to know, man, how have you done? Because this is what I'm super interested in now. I'm getting into playwriting, writing, screenwriting, all that. Wrote a book for you today. I want to reference it a few times. It's called The Art of Dramatic Writing.
Boom.
I have it on my shelf, but I've never cracked it, so I'm very curious.
Okay, word. Okay. But during quarantine, during 2020, because we didn't talk much during this year. I wasn't able to catch up to you because I was going through my own stuff, and we talked about it off the podcast already, and we're good. But
life happened.
Yeah, life happened.
Yeah.
But what was your day-to-day like? How were you down creatively? Were you thriving? Some people were thriving and feeling bad about it, and that was a weird thing. I don't know why people feel bad about it, but just let's talk about you. What were you doing in 2020? What was 2020 like for you, bro?
That's so interesting. That's a great. So I got very, very sick earlier on in the year.
Was it COVID or no?
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a fever of 102 for about 5 days straight.
Oh my God.
One of us started coming over. I was at the Kennedy Center in New England on Cape Cod. So I was out there and I received an award. I got a nice award for a 10-minute play I wrote.
What's the play called?
And the play is Island and Her Earth, and it was for the Planet Earth Arts Award.
Oh wow!
So it's about
cool.
Pertaining to, and I actually wrote that for a green fest, like a festival here in Boston that was commissioned to do like a 3-day outdoor play. And the worst thing you can do is do a play outdoor with mics. You're following a 9-piece band, and then you have a quiet little 2-hander play with microphones. So you have a full room of people dancing. It's outside. It's right on the water in Boston. It's beautiful. And it's like, we're going to do a play now. And we hand 2 tiny actors a microphone, and then people just leave. And then jokes don't land, things don't land. So I don't know how the play was performing. I didn't know how I was going to do in a more intimate space. It ended up doing very well, and on the page, it won me a nice award, which helped get me into the Dramatists Guild and doing a lot of cool things. But I'm really sick. And then I started teaching creative writing at Boston University.
Oh, what?
So now you're a teacher, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, so I was teaching. I had a classroom this was all prior to the pandemic hitting. I was teaching undergrads creative writing at BU, in a very nice, you walk in and they tell you day one, like, so and so taught here and so learned here, and you're like, oh great.
Can you name drop somebody?
It's not even worth it because all it matters is the imposter syndrome. All that pops up. You're like, why did you tell me that? My professor goes, I learned how to write in that room. And I go, great, you're teaching me. I'm in trouble. It's just.
That's so cool though, man. You're teaching in the room your teacher learned how to write.
Yeah, and I was in the room that my theater program in Boston began, essentially. So it was a very historic room, and I taught a very intimate classroom overlooking the Charles River here. It was like a dream. It was beautiful. And then the pandemic hit. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So I was working on my thesis. I'm doing a bunch of projects. I'm still working on the pilot I was working on last time I talked to you guys about hybrid. I was doing a lot of projects, and then I didn't really have time to focus because all of a sudden I just transitioned to home. I still had to teach classes, but I had to learn how to teach via Zoom. Right. I had to, I'm teaching every day there. And then my money ran out that I was I was on scholarship. I was being paid to teach the class. All of a sudden that's gone. So I had to find a job real quick. So my attention was just moving. It was just really survival instincts, really. I was also supposed to get married last year.
And you got married.
And we had to cancel that. A lot of life just happened.
Yeah.
I just had to adapt. I'll say the last thing on my mind was my plays, my writing, my creative plays. But what I could find comfort in was two things. I could find comfort in sports writing and hockey writing because, when hockey came back, my excitement came back. There was something to live, right? It was gone all of a sudden, but then sports came back. So I was like, well, great. I'm going to do that. I can focus. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was Hybrid started winning awards.
Okay.
So Hybrid was, despite a pandemic year, won over 20 film festival awards and got me into a lot of really big rooms and gave me the opportunity. We won. They only take 10 people and 5 to pitch at the Independent Filmmakers Project, IFP, in New York. Normally it's in person, but all of a sudden I realized I'm going to be pitching to major networks, Sony International, Warner Brothers, AMC Networks. So all of a sudden my attention just shifted, and it was like theater was in the back burner. I was like, I got to focus on this. So I'm building, I'm building a lookbook. I'm building all the content that I've been doing. Now is like all of a sudden paying off in a way that now I have to learn how to build a pitch. Now I have to sit down in these rooms. Now I'm having to pretend like I've been here before. Again, imposter syndrome. You're having these, you're realizing, and it's all from my 1-bedroom apartment in Boston. Yeah. Like I'm not going anywhere. I'm sitting here like
you got no pants on. You definitely have no pants on.
No, I don't have pants on right now. You can't tell. You don't know. But life just happened very fast, and I had to adapt.
Yes,
and luckily, I found myself in a position where I didn't have to. I found a job, luckily, because I cold called for so many years in New York. We're calling for the Manhattan Theater Club. I was able to find work remote. So I was calling and doing that. It wasn't enough money, but I was scraping by in order to focus on these other projects. So if we talk about creative, I wouldn't call it feeling creative. It felt different. It felt impulsive. It felt reactionary. And then when I had it felt like a gun to my head. And when the gun was there, I just had to move, and some really good writing came out of it, and some really bad writing came out of it. Yeah. We're still in it, and I'm learning to adapt, but I was able to move on from those experiences, have some really wonderful, successful opportunities, and then use that resume for the next project. So it's like, it's still going. Now that imposter syndrome's a little bit gone, because at this point I have taught college writing. I have a television show. I have, a million views in my articles. It just happened, and all of a sudden I realized, you are here. I'm in a position all of a sudden that I didn't expect to be in. That helped.
Damn, bro. That's some road. Let me ask you a question, dude. So the truth about this podcast is I came really prepared. I have so many questions that are lined up, and this is going to be unlike any other podcast because we're really prepared. I'm very prepared. And I genuinely have a lot of questions for you, just a curiosity. And as your friend. First one is, can I read Hybrid? Can I get my hands on it?
You can definitely read Hybrid. I learned.
Hey, thanks.
I had some really legal stuff happen around it.
Okay.
I learned. No, so that was. I learned how to let people read my stuff now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to start handing out a script until it's copyrighted, until it's registered with the WGA. I got into a legal battle. I got sued by a creative partner who I love to death. I had a very well-known playwright come to my aid and bring in her managerial team to fight for and kind of run by my situations. Read it.
So you were in deep trouble legally?
Yeah, but it all ended up resolving itself, and in fact made my relationship stronger with the person. But we just were both so new to the situation we were in. All of a sudden,
it
was so.
Fuck.
I mean, I there was one day I remember I didn't sleep for 48 hours straight. I was just so sick. I couldn't eat. I was just so, and it was just because I was so stressed out. It's like I finally got into the doors I wanted to be in, and now I'm in a situation where I'm fighting for ownership of my words.
Wow. Wait, so I don't know if you want to get into it or can get into it more.
A little bit. I want to preface everything with the person that I got with this in. I consider a brother, and I love to death.
So you both worked on this thing, and then you were like, once it came to...
We're fine now. Me and you are good now.
Yeah. We worked it out.
Yeah.
No, my partner and I, him and I well, I love this man deeply now, just because we went through it. You know, like, there's very few people who get on the other side of this.
Built that.
And we got screwed over in the process. We had somebody, while we were shooting it, steal money from an adjacent project, and then try to take creative. I started submitting the project under his name as a creator, and was getting accepted to film festivals, and was borrowing from us. There's legal documentation on both sides. We ended up having to sue him, but I couldn't afford a lawyer, so him and I had to work out another deal. There's a lot of things that just happened that I learned hard. So in like 6 months, not even, I say 3 months time, I learned more than I learned in 15 years of doing what I've been doing with writing. And it was frightening. It was scary. I mean, I was ready to throw it in any day. I was ready to just give up on it. But then all of a sudden you realize the rooms that I'm going to be in. Yeah. And you're like, I fought so hard to get in that room. Yeah. I fought so hard to virtually shake so-and-so's hand. I fought for that. Yeah. And I had to double down and in fact save a friendship in the process too, which was rewarding. I hope that answered your question, but that was you can read it, but I learned the hard way on like not to just give. I had to sign documentation when I would pitch to certain people saying that hypothetically, if a show that resembled my show were to emerge, I couldn't sue them. Yeah, like I had to like otherwise they wouldn't look at my stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Wait, so okay, walk me through that. That's you come up with your own story, you birth it, you create it, the drafts of it, you get to a final copy of it. It's good enough to pitch. You get a meeting, you book a meeting with this big name. You go to the meeting, and before you can even go to the meeting, they make you sign something saying, no matter what, if there's a show that comes out later, and we don't work with you, but it resembles in some capacity your script, that's cool?
It has to be if they want to look at it. That was the thing. This is also done virtually as well. There was hard paper. There was, before you even, like, the way it was structured is that our submission, like, I created a lookbook, we had a strong proof of concept of a $15,000 pilot that was shot that we had funds for on BU's dime, which was incredible. So we had proof of concept, we had the script, and we had a lookbook. And we were told when we got into the meetings, when we have the heads of this, they go, don't show them all of the script. Give them 5 pages. Don't give them all the plot. Give them a taste. Let their imaginations go. Don't give them X, Y, and Z because they will take it.
Fuck.
And then they put the information that we've spliced down to give that as a sample package, as a sample. They then, we put that out on the internet, and then all the companies get a chance to look at it. I'm talking Netflix, I'm talking Hulu, I'm talking everybody who is there got a chance to look at it. We have a very niche show. We understood that, especially in a year of his television being shot. You can't shoot anything, so we're not sure if it's the project or COVID that's preventing us from furthering a conversation. It was just always so interesting that we were having these dialogues. Certain companies were folding. Half the people I pitched to lost their job due to the pandemic right after I pitched to them. And we're getting emails of thank you so much for your time in this. We'll be in touch when I find when I at my next company. It was conversations like that.
Wow.
But in particular with this one company, it happened 2 others. We agreed to do it with one, not the other. Is that they go, we really like the materials you want to send, but for us to have a meeting, we're really going to need to see more. And you're like, okay. And they go, so we'd like to see the full script and the proof of concept, full of it.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Well, and they go, and you have to sign this waiver, and that's where it's all laid out. So, in order for them to even they've booked a meeting with us, they've registered a meeting, but for us to get access to that meeting, we have to give them that.
Yeah. So you're saying you're prepared because you have the 5 pages. You're not giving away the whole plot. You're giving them enough to get a taste and get their imagination.
They like the taste, so they want a bite, and then they ask for a
little appetizer.
And
this is crazy.
We gave it to them. We gave them everything.
Oh, okay.
And then they said, we ended up giving them everything, and then they ended up coming back with, we're not interested.
Okay.
So,
okay.
It ended up being really kind of dirty, and like we regretted it.
Who was it? Because I'll cancel my subscriction right now if you tell me who it is.
No, it's not worth it.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not playing that game. No, but I'm saying these are the lessons that I learned.
Yeah.
My work. It's like, but who do I cover for that information?
Yeah.
Who do I do? There's not like a college professor who's been there, they're used to doing old school pitching. It's just different. Nobody's pitching like this. Nobody's used to digital waivers. Nobody's used to this. And luckily, I had someone who was still in the game today who was able to offer me a little bit. And she would be like, "Don't sign shit." And I'd be like, "All right."
Bro, that's how I felt when I was distributing Rose Garden, dude, back in the day. I was like in a totally new environment. I had no connections whatsoever. And it was a lot of like, okay, let's put it out and let's see who wants it. And then you get a contract, someone would send you a contract, be like, we'll take it for this many years. And then I had to learn what non-exclusive exclusive was. I had to learn what the difference with the deals were, how much you got, all this stuff. And dealing with like short film distribution, which is another fucking realm completely.
Yep.
There's it's a universe like I'm just really interested in learning about. You know what I mean? And I think it's probably the same for you with this realm of writing. Like you learn how to write and you go write, right? And you think that's it. And then you're like, wait a second, I got to learn how to pitch now. This is a whole new universe I got to learn about.
I'll tell you what the big dividing point between me and my partner was, and I know you have a lot of questions, so I apologize, but I thought this is
go ahead.
We all owned different things, and that was a hard lesson. Mm-hmm. So I owned the script and half the story to Hybrid.
Okay.
That was my script, my words, my everything. I'm the writer. I am half the story. Jayesh owned half the story and the proof of concept of film, right? Uh-huh. So we could not operate without the other's consent, essentially, to do stuff, right?
Right.
And so at one point, the argument was, who is a creator? Is creators get different titles, have different placement and different thing.
Well, what does that mean?
What the term creator?
How do you define that?
It changes on. It's like it changes by company. The company, like a production company, can take it from you, right?
Okay.
But it's self-proclaimed. So I went into agreement on my next project, and I was like, hey, so we have to register with this. Technically, we are all by owners. We have equal parts on this project, right?
So that'd be story, a three-way story.
Right. We three-way story there. I was the head writer of the project, but they had an initial pilot that they brought to me, and I cleaned up and I dressed, and then I took from there. So I would say, this is your project. It's much more about them than it is me, but I am the story. But now, so legally, we get into an area. So being open about everything, I say, so, at this stage, legally, we are all equal partners and ownerships in this.
Right.
But we're going to have to eventually at some point go through the WGA and set up a collaboration agreement.
Gotcha.
Right?
Man, I got so much to learn, dude, that a WGA agreement is like how you define the roles of a production or of
Nobody talks about it. No, there's not a class on that primarily. Everyone talks about how to do a thing, but how do you get in the business of it? And how do you get in the business of it today? People are actually doing it. There's only so many schools or programs that can teach you that.
Right.
Because you're not going to get that, or people actually doing it.
Yeah.
And I have no agent. I have no manager. I reached out to a manager, because that was a conversation as well.
How in the world don't you have a manager if you're pitching your scripts already? How do you not have a manager? This is crazy.
That's okay. But I said they reached out to me before. I go, hey, I'm pitching this, and they go, we're okay. Let us know if you have a deal on the table. Just meant if there's money on the table, we'll be interested.
Then we'll call. Yeah.
Okay. At that point, if they agree and sign on, negotiate, they get a say in the money.
So
right?
That's a good point, dude. That's a good point. Why in the world? What is the attraction to getting an agent or a manager when you're already doing your own thing?
There's actually a whole thing now you can Google in the past. I don't know. I haven't kept up if it's resolved itself, but there was like a whole thing of like, don't get an agent, get a manager, because agents are actually pulling from two different places financially and actually taking more money. It was a whole ugly thing. There's a lot of mess, and I was learning on it. Like I was getting a crash course, And a lot of people had this knowledge. They're like, "Oh, why didn't you know that?" I go, where do I go for that?
One thing I wanted to add is like, I think this is such a bigger like thing than people know. It's like the whole system, entertainment, is in all aspects, like music and everything. Like traditionally, it's meant to really be like, there's a distributing, and it's the actor. You don't know any of that. You just do the acting. You know what I mean? Yeah. And right now with technology and like being able to learn everything, like people are seeing that you don't need to have like all these like traditional avenues to how it was and how things are like changing. And I'm sure like even with like just starting like a podcast.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
It's like we just did this. I did it from just looking it up and everything. And I think what the system really is, like, because the system I think has been in place for so long, you know, that it still is like grabbing onto those traditional, you know what I mean, like the different aspects of the traditional like
the
system.
ways it work.
The way it works, but it's changing, and like it's hard for them to they're not going to just tell you to like, oh, you can just do it. You don't.
That's what I'm saying. They lose out.
Yeah,
they wouldn't tell you.
They don't want you.
Don't.
Like, it's working against you. They're always working against you.
Right. Because they gotta get their buck.
A bigger conversation, but the system is built to do exactly what it is doing. Right. There's, it's, no, you're.
And hey, it works, but not for the little guy trying to figure it out.
Dude, that's the thing I find myself in now, bro. It's like I have a manager I love dearly. She's the shit. I love her because she loves me, and it's like we're buddies, and I like that. I never had a manager or agent like that before. Everyone else has dropped me like a hot tomato because I can't. I told Jay, we had a podcast last week with Jason Milner.
Boom, shut up.
For some reason, your boy's not doing well in the audition rooms. He's not booking. 2020 was a rough year. 2019, I was like fucking fire. 2020, nothing. And I think a lot of people probably feel the same way or a similar way. But when I look back at like I'll get an audition for like, you name it commercial, I probably auditioned for it. And, I'll find myself in the like doing a self tape now because it's all self tapes, and you're putting yourself on camera and you want to establish some kind of connection with this casting director, so you got to do these auditions, and are they what I want to do? Absolutely not. But they're like a necessity, right? And there's another part of it where it's like, oh, you can pay for a seminar, you can pay to be seen, so that's this is my point. I'm just talking strictly about what I know, which is the New York tri-state area acting.
I know exactly. Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. You've probably been a part of this too at some point in the years in New York. I'm sure. You pay your way to be seen by so and so who's casting this show, and you go in this room, and everyone's like, oh, we all paid to be here. That's being siphoned to some person who's spending an hour with us after their workday. To receive a certain amount of funds. I doubt the intention is to be finding the next great, actor that we've missed somehow. And these businesses are built to have these casting directors come in and like, or agents or whatever, come in and take. And maybe I'm wrong, and people are going to get mad at me for saying it, I'm sure, but this is what my point of view is on it because I've been on this side of this table for so long.
I don't see too many success stories. I remember.
Me neither.
You'll have to ask him his story next time you see him. But I think Adam told me a story years ago that's reminding me where he was.
Shout out loud.
Boom.
Yeah, we talked to him a long time. He remember telling me a story. Well, we found out we were looking into it, or somebody was looking into it at the time about doing one of these, and they were looking up like its success stories, right?
Right.
And Adam's face popped up on the website as a success story. And so we went.
He had one. He had one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he's like, they got me one audition, and I booked one commercial like 3 years ago. That effect. He'll tell it better, but I remember that being
he made it.
I think I was looking into it, and somebody else was too. I forget who it was, but I just remember being like, you're. But then there's that other voice. There's the skeptic in the voice, and that voice is like, "Oh, you never know."
There's always that lingering, like, it could be me though.
I'm special, and we are special. We are very special. Yeah. My grandmother tells me that every day.
Yes.
You know what that is, man? That's like attaching a lottery to like.
That's exactly. You know what I mean? It's like gambling. It's like, oh, but this role, I know I got it. We got it, babe. Let's chill. Let's chill. We're gonna get it. We're gonna hit here, and you throw a couple dollars on that table, and you're like, I gotta,
Yeah,
I've had a lot of advice. I've had a lot of advice that people have told me to do that, and I've done it. And I've had one success come of that, and it was short-lived and nothing happened. So I'm only getting older. I know a lot of young actors who I think listen to this show or just follow it or whatever that want to know about it. So I'm going to be honest about it when I talk about it. And I think it reminded me when you were talking about the writing and that scene and the pitching of things and like how nobody really talks about the system in place and how it's kind of built to just take as much as it can from the little guy and all the little guys and then get something out at the end. And then you're probably not going to reach the place you want to go with this system. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think if you focus on what you're good at and you get better at the thing you want to do, eventually the cream will rise to the top and you will be seen because you're putting out your own work, you're pitching your own things, you're making your own things. And that's what I believe. That's at least at 30 years old, that's where I'm at in my life. So that's been my focus is I'm just going to create my own stuff continually. I'm going to get better at writing so that I can write my own things, cast them how I want eventually. But like that's my point is I'm not going to pander to the system that's in place because I don't fit this system. There's no avenue where I come through that, at least in my mind, where I come through that system and it's like you're putting
the system's doing it. The system is living rent free in your mind right now because they're not thinking about you. Who gives you're talented. Mike knows you're talented. I know you're talented. Everybody who's ever seen you on stage knows you're talented.
Does talent exist?
What?
Does talent exist, Danny Blanda? Now we're talking. Does talent exist?
Uh-oh. I thought you said something else. I was like, what did you just say?
No. Talent. I have a speech impediment.
What was that technique is there when talent fails? I think we said that last time we were here or something like that. I don't even remember. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. Talent is preparation. Talent is your natural ability to. I feel like I'm quoting somebody here, which I don't want to say.
Yeah, right. It's weird. It's a weird subject.
No. But for real, like I thought about that. I actually wrote that down for you. Like this is a question I wanted to ask because
I will say I have a talent for writing dialogue. I know that I get in a room, I can smoke you with some dialogue.
So is that just something you through your life you've garnered these abilities through whatever, or were you born with that, or like what do you think that is? Why does that? Why are you good at dialogue? You know what I'm saying? Have you heard a lot of dialogue? Have you researched a lot of dialogue? Have you just focused on doing dialogue? Or were you born?
I don't know I could say. I remember the first time I wrote a script was try to write a script was in high school, and I knew my script was entirely dialogue, right? Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was watching a lot of like Clerks, Mallrats. I was watching all Kevin Smith movies, so that's all dialogue. And then you look at it now, and you look, that's dialogue that operates only in that world, but creates a world. I can say that's what an influence was. And then I go into the theater, and people are handing me Martin McDonagh and handing me David Mamet, and they're handing me dialogue first people. So I've just been surrounded with it and reading it and absorbing it.
Right.
That's talent or just what I was exposed. It's just pure exposure.
Right.
I don't.
But so,
how about this? Talent is a confidence in yourself. No?
That's confidence.
It's a confidence in yourself, right?
In your ability. I guess. Yes. Maybe.
I could confidently do something terrible, though. I could confidently walk in.
You could confidently bump.
Yeah.
And then you're not talented. So you paid me a nice compliment. You said I'm very talented. Thank you for saying that. I think I'm suited for acting because of things I've picked up throughout my life. And I think that they work in my favor with acting. And like, so I talked about this last podcast.
I'll give you a specificity for your point. Real quick.
Sure.
When I say you're talented, is your heart comes through first. Your humanity shines through. You have an ability to emote, to connect your heart better than most, not just in material, but to other people. And you listen and you provide. You have a gift at that.
Okay, thank you.
Talented, I see you present and available for whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
whoever you're doing.
Yeah,
it's like a truthful intention. Like I don't know. Like it's only like you can't.
But okay.
This is tough.
This is tough. This is a tough conversation. But that's what I want to ask. And I wanted to get honest opinions because I struggle with this. I think I wasn't talented until I learned a way.
Yeah.
And then that allowed me to use the things that I'm good at effectively with this craft. and it built like ability. You know what I mean? An ability, like your ability to I only know acting well, because I've worked on it for years and years and years and years, and I finally found a way to do it that serves me. I think when you finally have like a structure, some kind of way of doing a thing that you can replicate and you can grow into, that's when you become like a talent. Like that's. But I don't know if it's. I was just always going to be this dope. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I think it was a lot of.
Gonna be this dope. That's the best opening line in the movie I could ever see.
Hey, always talented and dope, man.
Hey, CAA. I didn't always know I was gonna be this dope, you know. But no, for real. Like the talent thing's a cool question because it could be just you're just naturally destined to be better at a thing than other people. You know what I mean? We're all good at things. I think we all do have a special something we can express in some way that is uniquely us, and it would move a lot of people and change conversation. It would do something special to the air in the room. I think all of us have this inside of us, and we don't know a way to express it necessarily.
I think talent is like the wrong word though.
What's the right word?
I don't know what the right word is. Like, because people still hate people that are talented. People go, oh, there's no talent. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
People called fucking Leo fucking trash or whoever. You know what I mean? Like, then what is it? Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what to call it.
I don't know. Talent's the word I know.
Like innate ability. I don't know.
You just do shit. It happens. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's like action. You know, like I talk about my year. I would say it's the most creatively fulfilling year, but I just was kept having to go and keep doing things, and then all of a sudden I have the time to look at it, and all of a sudden I'm looking back like, oh, I did a lot.
Yeah. But Dan, you're a talented writer, right? Like you're winning awards for what you've written. So did you just wake up one day and you were like, dude?
No, I knew I wasn't. That's why I went to grad school. I knew I had a natural ability to write dialogue. I knew I had a natural ability to do characters. So I had to go learn how to do it. Otherwise, to your point of like, I'm naturally able to connect. I'm naturally able to have a conversation, but I don't have a need to harness it every time when I need it on command.
Right.
If I didn't know how to do a beginning, middle, and end, or write a character, I'm wasting everybody's time.
Yes, man. Yes.
That's how I'm doing my job,
dude. Yes. If I was just good at connecting with people or being like big hearted about things, like taking whatever, connecting, and I went to my head. Every time I act, it's the whatever. Guy's a big, goofy trying to be actor. You know what I mean? It was nice. There's nothing is coming through. I don't have any talent in that case. You know what I mean? The talent doesn't exist. So the technique has to I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm confused about it, but this talent conversations is comment down below if you have an idea about what talent is. If it exists or if it's just a lot of preparation and you have this unique thing and you want to call that talent, cool. But I don't know. Danny, I got
doing a podcast, not a conversation.
This is a podcast, dude. We're official, dude. We're living. We come up in the world. Listen.
Can you hear me? Okay?
Yeah, we can hear you good. We can hear you good. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to. Sorry.
I got 11 questions for you, but we went through a couple, so I'm just rattle them off, and then you respond how you want, dude. This is your pod. Okay. So when you begin a story, I'm gonna say just a narrative. Let's say a fiction.
Okay.
How do you begin? What is the process? Is there an inspirational moment? Is there something where you're like, I got to sit down for 10 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, and I got to just come up with something new because I need a new story? What is it usually for you? What do you do?
There's usually a hook into the story, into the world of the play. I'll say for the one I'm currently working on, I had an image. I knew how the play began for about 5 years before. I didn't know what the play was about. I knew the idea was there. I knew it tied into certain things. I knew I wanted to, I knew the beginning. I knew the beginning, the middle, end of the beginning. And that's all I had. And I knew that I was going to go to a place that at the time I didn't have the tools to go. Okay. Right. That was kind of like the beginning. Like I had the idea. I've been wrestling with this, but I didn't know what the play was after this play. Right. There was no dialogue, which was different for me. Right. Which excited me, which scared me, Turns out the play is more of a it scares me a lot. It turns out I would call it a thriller, borderline horror at the time.
Wow.
And it was hard to capture without it being cheesy. So I would say for that one, it was for that case, it was an event and it was the beginning. I'll say with Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda, it was a relationship. I'll say with No Service, it was the question of what we do when our instincts fail us, kind of thing. Like how do we respond to an aftermath after we didn't perform in the aftermath, like in the event itself?
Yeah.
Like how do you, like that? Those are questions. So it's always different, but there's something like that I'm wrestling with.
Yeah.
It goes in the right direction, and if I come back to it without writing it down, something's there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to explore it and write 1,000 versions of it.
Okay, so it's the hook, and it could be anything. It could be a relationship. It could be anything. An image, beginning, middle, end. You already see in your head. That's cool. I think that's what an artist is. Like you're free to whatever is going to hit you. You're free to be pulled in a direction because that's your instinct speaking. That's why my fucking brother Danny Blanda is an artist, Mikey.
Yes, I feel it. Yeah,
that's what makes an artist right there, dude. For real. Is talent real? I already asked you that. Is there any one type of writing formula that you follow? So we just answered that as well. Well, actually, so you pretty much said it there. Like in the construction of your writing, it could be a hook in some weird way of a relationship. Let's say like shoulda, coulda, woulda, was, and then it's like you develop like you see scenes and you write those out, or is it like, wait a second, I got to slow down, I got to hit a premise, like this book right here states. Before I go any further, I got to get a premise, so I know I take a side. I know what I'm trying to prove or disprove, and I create a story accordingly. Like there's a structure to it.
I don't like that at all.
Damn. I think Danny needs to write a book.
Hey.
I don't need to write a book. I just, and maybe they're onto something more than I am. They wrote the book on it. But for me, if I were to start there being logical and start thinking about something to death, like, and not letting it, like when I say like I'm wrestling with something, it's never usually in my head. Like I can imagine it, but like how does that viscerally feel is usually a response by it.
Okay,
it's good. If I came out here, David Mamet, who I will argue with all the time with his writings now, will say art cannot exist if there is an agenda. That sounds like an agenda, like my premise. What am I going off of? Sure, you're like if I'm setting out to write about global warming, I have a bias. I think because Like, that's a terrible example, Mike, just cut that dumb example out. But
just cut that out, dude.
No, you leave it. It's fuck it. Here's the point. The point is that like I can't go in pre-existing planning anything, right?
Okay.
If I know how the scene's going to go before I walk into it, no, it's not going to. I'm pre-planning to a fault.
Would you say you're crafting characters and letting them perform how they would perform, like do what they would do, and then you're allowing it to go where it goes, kind of thing, or you know where it's got to go and you create a path for that, like you know what I'm saying? My.
You should think in terms of events.
Events, okay,
right.
Okay. They're like buoys in your
things
story.
Like that.
Yeah.
So with my current project, I became obsessed with original sin. I became very self-aware in this conversation that we're having that I don't feel in my person like there's a place for me creatively a lot of times in the world. There's not a place for me. Where do I belong? Well, that's
you belong with me, dude. Anytime.
Appreciate that. Mike, you already.
You do. I mean it though. I mean it. You're my buddy. Come on.
I know.
Okay. Sorry.
So, but so like if you want to call that a premise that I was kind of just fixated on original sin, and I'm reading a lot of books on original sin,
right?
And then subconsciously what comes through on the page, I'm not sitting here going, let me argue original sin real quick. I'm just letting that influence me.
Okay.
That's kind of where it goes. If I'm curious about my placement in the world, and all of a sudden I realize, well, I want to write a play about people who are genuinely lost, right?
Right, a play about people who are genuinely lost.
I don't think it made too much sense to people prior to the pandemic.
Right.
I mean, my I'm currently working on is about two people in the middle of fucking nowhere. People are like, why would someone choose to live a life so isolated? Now you look at the world and go, oh, I get it a little bit, or I understand it a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just where my brain always goes.
Yeah. Hey, and I'm not working, dude. Yeah, I haven't been casting nothing yet. So you got first dibs, baby.
Well, come on up.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, dude.
Boston.
Come on.
You got my number already. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm only going to talk to you via podcast from now on. That's all I'm going to do.
Okay, we'll do all our business
meetings,
deals.
man.
We'll do all our meetings on the podcast. Done. Done. We'll have a segment every week where we catch up on the process too.
Yeah.
I'll get a copy written with it, and then I'll send it over to you.
That's sick. I love that.
I want to pause real quick. I want to, because I think my phone's going to die and the live's going to stop. I say we go through some of these questions.
Okay, quick. Do your thing.
I don't know who. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry.
Let's just scroll in really quick. This is really scuffed. But let's see.
We're gonna get more effective with this thing. This is a test run. We have a PA coming on the show.
Sebastian says, "Why don't you do YouTube lives?" Shut up, Sebastian.
Hey, Sebastian, go home.
Katie Trubeski stopped by.
What up, KT?
We got no questions, but you know what? That's okay, guys. We're just gonna say a quick bye.
Yeah.
Dave,
Love you guys.
peace out, guys.
Beardless.
Love you. We're gonna try to figure this out.
We'll figure it out.
We got Danny Blanda right over
Danny
here.
Bland's on the show.
You guys
Second
gotta stay
time.
tuned
Go
and
listen
check
to his
it
first
out.
episode
Yeah,
right
the
now.
first episode is around in the 30s, so go check it out. Love you guys.
Wednesday, tomorrow. Danny, more questions for you. More questions. Let me get through them. My phone's gonna die.
Can I ask one?
No, right.
Can I ask one?
What are we doing?
All right, you go.
No. Go. You go.
I thought of it. Like when you said your first question.
Yeah.
How do you know when something's done?
Ooh.
That's a great question. I don't think
question, dude.
ever fully done. I think for me, with when shoulda, coulda, woulda, we talked about last time. The only people wanted me to go back to it, and I realized the story wasn't fresh to me. And so I realized that if any of my writing right now would do more harm than good. That was a good tell for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking away from the heart of the story or the intent of the story, trying to make it clean and work and pretty. Then I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, that's with theater writing though. With television writing and film writing, I'm learning that's a lot easier actually for me. That's a lot more mathematical.
Mm-hmm.
Like this scene needs that here. This theater is a much more blank canvas to me. Filmmaking, journalism, that stuff, that's math. That's just all that is. I hate math, but I realize if I follow that formula, I'm in good hands.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want to look at a book at formula and just like, hey, by this point, hit this, look at the guidelines and Save the Cat. It's a good book in terms of just like, hey, by this point, this should happen. By this point, this should happen.
Okay.
And that's usually just for like a feature film and stuff. But the same beats are pretty universal. It's like, have I hit that? Have I hit that? Have I hit that? And it's like, it's a good indication. And then I'll have 12 people say, I want to change this. And if I'm willing to fight for something, tells me that, I'm pretty quick to kind of, if I don't think something needs to be there, I'll let it go. But if I want it in there, I'll fight for it.
Yeah.
So whatever ends up in that regards, it's what I fought for, or what has been, I've not compromised or learned from. Sometimes you work with a partner who has an idea and I'm not willing to listen to it because I think I'm genius in that moment, but I realized that they've actually had a much smarter objective lens to it. The table read usually tells me a lot too, if in that regard. I'm like, I can sometimes hear when I'm trying to be smart and I go, it's just gross.
Yeah. To hear it out loud is different. It's much different than it is in your head.
It's usually done when somebody else is able to interpret it. That's a terrible, pretentious answer, but it's a hard question.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah. Good question.
That's a big struggle. I have no clue.
When are things finished? When am I done?
It's tough, man.
You're doing it right now. You're making a song.
Yeah. The hardest thing for me, I think, creatively is getting an idea down is so because the easiest thing is to get ideas and then
Be inspired.
And then you just throw something together.
Yeah.
And then you step away. You're like, I'm gonna step away a little bit and come back
to it.
To come back and build on something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
yeah.
something you really gotta learn, go through again over and over and over.
Last time, I don't know if I talked about this or not, but I realized a lot of time I used to fix my good writing with other good writing. And that's usually a problem too. I'm not looking at the trailblazers a lot. It's like when you talk about, Dave, it's like if you're good at X, Y, and Z and you're not focusing on your relationship work, you're not focusing on your character work, you're not fixing the holes in your acting. It's the same thing with writing.
Right.
My dialogue's good, but I'm not focusing on plot or focusing on structure or focusing on timing and pacing. Well, then I'm just doing more harm than good. Right. I'm just fixing. I'm just working on something that doesn't need to be fixed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's that's always been something. So in terms of done, I always have to look at like what is working and what isn't working, and then really analyze that. What needs to make this all work together?
Okay. Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
My voice went there.
Okay. So when you're writing a character, right?
Yeah.
Just crafting a character, how much would you say is personal? Is Danny Blanda? What if you could make a percentage on a character? Like a shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like I would say the protagonist of that story is probably super close. Probably 90% Danny Blanda. Am I fair? Is it fair to say? But as you continue to write and you're getting into new territory and scripts where maybe you have to go research them, or you have to go to understand what these characters are going to do and go through and all that. You're going to research, you're learning about this environment, the way they work, whatever, their careers or their whatever climate they're in. You maybe have to stretch a bit. How much of a percentage is still Danny Blanda?
That's such a tough one because there's so much that comes up on there. I realize a lot of times I'll just throw very personal things on there, and then I'll edit and whittle down, and it'll like oftentimes like the very personal thing to me is like at the time the best thing in the script, and I'm trying to build the rest of the script to that level.
Yes.
And then I realize the work or the extended fiction or extended nonfiction or whichever it is at some point, it all blends together at some point. I realize the most personal thing oftentimes no longer fits into the story. Right.
So
that's like, it's not, I guess it's a Kill Your Darlings, but it was the thing that elevated the rest of the script around it.
Right.
And then I removed that and I put in what works with this now. So it's like, let's look at it. I'm going to graph it out. I've never done this before. So let's look at it like a pyramid, right?
Okay.
The very spike of it, and the part that is the most interesting is the tip of the pyramid. I now try to get this all up to see on the same level, right? That it's all same quality. And then to the point it becomes like a V where that pyramid is now the lowest point. Okay. And so I try to lift that up to that's kind of how it feels in my head, and I've never tried to say that out loud. Yeah. But I realize it often becomes a placeholder, the most personal components. Okay. I realize sometimes that I'm looking for a solution. I realize my life solutions. My current character that I'm working on is an asshole. I hope that's not me. But he also sleepwalks. I sleptwalk for years. You know, it's easy to link and tie things to it. But I also am being biased. He's not a complete asshole. That was rude of me to say about my character. He's actually, he's got a lot of great qualities. He's just very broken and lost.
Dude, those are the best. They're the best characters. That's all I want to do every casting ever is the dude who is so like exteriorly like just fucking awful. And like, but you learn throughout, like, or you may not learn. You have to make your own assumptions. But like this guy, there's a reason. There's always a reason. I believe this in life, dude. You know, we study people. We study behavior. We've been doing that for years. You can always kind of trace something that's disagreeable, a disagreeable quality about a human being or disagreeable behavior. Somewhat. I don't think anyone's just inherently fucking evil. I don't.
No, but there's that. We talk about conversations of demonization. You know, we talk about last time I was here. It's still something I still wrestle with is who's worth putting on a stage and not worth putting on a stage, right? Right. More stage than good on a stage. Right. You can argue all day. And people are going to have their opinion. People are going to have their opinion for good reasons and for selfish reasons and for whatever reasons they have, right? People I'm currently working with are people you don't want on the stage. People hate my characters. They do nothing wrong, right? And that's interesting. So I actually kind of trick an audience with this one. I put the most aggressive person on the stage, and you think he's kind of the more fucked up one, right? Yeah. And when I give you I give you the outsider who's coming into this world, seems to, like our lens into the story. But that's not, about halfway, you realize that the person you shouldn't be afraid of is the person you prejudge when you walk through that door. Yes. Right? That's me trying to have a conversation of like, not bad people, you know. These are just people who are a very different place than you. And, you know, again, I talk about a lot of the people I love most in this world who lay down their life for me, and I lay down my life for them day in, day out. Have drastically different political opinions than me. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Drastically different viewpoints. I love these people to death. Does that mean they're bad, evil people? No. If you think that, I think that is a form of evil and malice and division and hate. And that's a hard conversation to have.
Wow.
It's not easy to say these things. I don't know.
It's like, can I say this? Like Tennessee Williams wrote that long letter to Kazan before Streetcar premiered, right? And Stanley's one of the worst fucking just people on paper you'll ever read. He's just fucking awful. He's awful. Yeah, he commits rape in his story. He's a drunkard. He treats his wife like trash. He's a sexual, like, just insane human being. He literally, I think he put like he's just driven by his penis. We'll say, be nice. Just driven by his penis. That's his spine. So okay. Horrible. Right?
Like on the whole way. I don't know.
Yeah, unless you're 16, you can't really get away with that no more, right? And Stanley's into his 20s. So okay. Oh my God. Tennessee Williams, who wrote the play, wrote to Kazan, and I'm going to butcher it, but it was basically like none of these characters should be played as the bad person because none of them are inherently bad. Everyone has a story. Everyone has some kind of history that's turned them into what they are today. And they do bad things and they do great things. And they have moments of total bliss and they have moments of just being, treating people badly. And we shouldn't be like so black and white on how we portray them. Let's just remind everybody of that. And it was that's one of the best plays that ever came. That's one of the best stories ever written. I vibe with that. I think that's the coolest. As an actor, dude, I hate saying that phrase, as an actor, but for real, like.
You raise your hand when you say that, actually.
I do this. This is what I do every time. As if I'm in court. For real. Like when you're investigating how to get into a story. Maybe I'm on an island here, but I don't think I am. I think you have to somehow humanize this person. You have to connect. It's you. So do you believe you're just this evil human being? Or like, do you believe there's some part of you that's morally sound? Or have you been through some things and you can relate in some capacity this much to certain, actions in this thing, things that the people do in the story? I never could imagine doing the terrible things Stanley does in that. But have I been angry enough to be, in someone's face like this? And can I stretch my imagination a bit and get there? Of course. Of course. Have I treated people badly? Of course. Of course I have. You know what I mean? And I just think humans are super. We're complicated. We're not like just a shade of like just you're fucking bad. You're just bad. You're a bad dude, bad guy. Bad person. I don't know. I think what you do, you have to own up to. If you do a terrible thing, you've got to own that. And you got to take responsibility for that if you do something terrible. I don't disagree there. And should there be some form of punishments? 100%. 100%. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that person came from a place. And I don't know. If you're keeping it real, there's you can relate to Stanley Kowalski in some ways. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
What you're making me feel right now is, one, I can't agree with you more. I know there's nothing, but I feel bad right now. I feel guilty right now because I came in here shitting on Tony D'Angelo and like I said a lot of really rough things.
True.
I literally sat here going, "Damn, I don't know." God.
Tony, we're sorry. We're sorry.
I'm not. A lot of things that if he actually did, I'm mad at. But
you disagree with his actions, dude. It's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, but I don't know what got him there. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the remind me of something else that actually first time I got angry at an actor interview. Bear interviewed Sam Rockwell right after 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
Okay.
And Sam Rockwell came out, and all of a sudden Stephen Colbert launched into he's like, "Well, your character's a bad guy," and like you see Rockwell, it's like all of a sudden he's up there defending his character.
Right.
It's like he's a racist. It's this. Like, yeah, but like all of a sudden, like he had to like there was a questions of like, how do you feel about portraying this person and giving this person and humanizing this person?
Right.
It was just the first time I heard it. I remember being outraged because I was like, if he doesn't do that, there's no story. There's no redemption.
Exactly, dude. What is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to be yeehaw his way through it and be the bad guy? Like, if he doesn't humanize it, if he doesn't become it, in his way, if he doesn't relate, if he doesn't find some kind of bridge to this character, if he doesn't do these doings realistically, justified, each one of them, each moment, then what? There's no story. There's no story. The character shouldn't even be a thing. Don't write him. Keep him out. Get rid of him. He's not going to serve. Do you know what I'm saying? That's like you're stealing. I don't know. I'm going to get so much hate from this dude, but I swear that's how I feel.
You guys are making a great point.
I swear it.
I wrestle with this a lot. I think it's a hard conversation.
It is. It's a hard conversation. It is.
What I do, I turn around and I put two people who didn't know where they belonged in the world on stage, and we'll have a conversation. And if 5 people show up, have an intimate 7-person conversation. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. That's that. Well, I don't know. What was the question that propelled? Jesus.
Wait, I got more. So we'll just continue, okay? We'll continue. That was a good conversation though, and it's I could be totally wrong. You could be. We could all be wrong.
Mm.
I went so internal on myself for a moment, Dave. I was like, I get a shower, and now I'm just.
No, dude.
Like,
Damn.
Okay.
No, it's just an interesting, very honest, real conversation.
That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. And we're not trying to hurt nobody, obviously. We're just talking.
D'Angelo.
Sorry, Tony D'Angelo. We're sorry. Okay. This is when I really want to know, really badly. If you could write a story, or any story, anything, fiction, let's say, but it's got to be fiction, and you had to act in it, what would the story be?
I like the first part of that question.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know, everybody, Danny's a talented actor. Okay, all right. If anyone's wondering, dude, check his resume.
Boom.
It's not that great, actually.
Guess
Check
what?
it anyway.
I seen it up close and personal, and I vouch.
If I were to have to act into it, and I wrote it too.
You wrote it too. You wrote it as well. So you're writing your own character. You're writing your own plot. You're writing everything.
I hate that because I'm too close. I don't like being in the. Oh, I'm too close. Like here's why I don't like that.
You want to separate them? You want to answer? You write your story and then you act in another person's thing. Your favorite role?
Okay, I'm a writer who I'd like to work in their work. I'd like to play with Martin McDonagh's words all day.
Okay.
And it's a playground. I would love to act in that. If you say, hey, you want me in a Martin McDonagh movie? I'd be like, I'm the greatest actor alive. I'll lie to you 1,000 times over, whatever you need.
I can ride a horse. I have discovered buried treasure.
Not only that, I can shoot a gun on a horse. Have I done it? No, but I am just mentally that tough that I think I can.
I'm special.
What's going to happen, though? You ever have those dreams where you get in a fist fight and all of a sudden you can't punch the guy?
Dude, your hands are like pillows, or they poof as soon as you hit them? It's the worst.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen with me on the horse. Like, you're up there, and I'm like, I'm going to punch the horse, shooting the horse in the head of an accident. It's just going to be a mess. I'm not sure this was quite tied together, but it felt right. What I want to write, what I want to work on, I do know what I want to talk about. I'll talk about that with you.
Okay.
At some, but there is a project that is, that I'm toying with. I just don't have the tools yet.
Buddy cop film? What are we doing?
No, we're gonna go do something that scares the hell out of a lot of people.
Okay. I like that.
I think weird shit. I don't know why I love writing it. I just hate it so much, but I do know a TV show I want to shoot, and I know where I want to shoot it.
Hey,
you talk about inspiration; it's a location that actually exists.
Oh man! Okay.
So that's what interests me. I got like books and books and books on the place, and like I've been there myself. I go, this place gives me more imagination than ever before. I'd be in that. I'd get killed off really early, I think. I like that. But I'd be like, hey guys, I was just walking out. And then like that would be it for me. Like, that's what I
This sounds a lot like the drive to the podcast studio. The basement.
The basement.
Yeah,
Is that
absolutely.
Sorry to
You
give it
know
away.
exactly what I'm talking about.
We actually had 200 episodes, but half of the people Mike murdered
God.
in this basement.
Oh my God.
Good looks in that mustache. Right there.
One strand for every.
Oh, that's dark, dude. Put that in your next script. Okay, Danny. So what story has impacted you the most in your life? If you had to break it down to one story that's just influenced you in such an incredibly massive way. This story's played a huge part in your life. You didn't. It wasn't a surprise you found acting. It's not a surprise you're writing. What story? If you had to pick one.
Martin McDonough. Again, it goes back to Martin McDonough. Unfortunately, it's the first that comes to my mind.
Which one?
The Pillow Man by Martin McDonough.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I couldn't do that. Like, that's what it comes down to. I didn't know that was allowed. You think about doing a high school theater, we're all song and dancing, and then we have a quiet little family comedy or improv games, and then someone hands you this play about murdering children, and you're like, well, this is going to make an impact. Like, I didn't know that was allowed. Like, and also, like, it was, like, and to be funny doing it. Like, you're talking about, like, the opening line is like, why is there a bag over your head? I don't know. I was like, take that fucking thing off. Like, why is there, and it's like an interrogation room. Like, it's brilliant. I don't know. I just didn't know you could do that. I was 18, and all of a sudden I go, oh, the theater might have something. I use a monologue from that got me into college for an acting scholarship. Wow. And from there, I just kind of kept going. I blame that play is what I'm saying. Wow. That's who I blame.
That's the start.
Fuck you, Martin.
You could have been doing 9 to 5s the rest of your life, bro. If Martin didn't intervene in your life.
If I had told Danny Zuko one more fucking time, I would have just been like, "This isn't for me." Or then we would off like, "Hey, let's do 4 persons in a dungeon killing kids." Great.
I love you, man.
This is, I'm a professional.
I'm a professional.
Jesus.
Okay. Moving on. Only a couple more. So what? Well, I mean, we just want to roll has story played in your life. One of your favorite childhood memories, Danny Blanda. I want to know. One of you. What? You close your eyes, you can still see it. What's one of your favorite childhood memories, man?
What childhood story am I going to make up right
now? No, come on now. Keep it real. Keep it real.
I'm trying to think. It's just
take your time. I'll give you one of mine. I'll give you one of mine right now. So I used to live on an undisclosed street in Elmo Park, New Jersey. And it was a World War II home. It was basically like a trailer home I grew up in, and it was split in half. So it was like a 2-family deal, small, like 1-level deal. And it was a dead end we lived on. It was my whole life, like until I was 18, and on and off because we move out, whatever. But I was into skateboarding at the time. And my grandma, there was a kitchen window next to the front door. When I go outside after school, the window would be open. I could smell her cooking, right? Because I live with my grandma. I went outside on my skateboard. I had a little ramp I had gotten for Christmas, right? A little ramp, and it was a ramp and a platform, and then another ramp on the other side. So it was like a 4x4 platform, and I remember for some reason, I don't know why this is so special to me, but I laid down on the platform. I must have been tired or something. I was out of breath. And I was looking up like through these like old elm trees, through these telephone wires into like the sky. And I was like daydreaming. And I was just daydreaming. I think an hour must have passed, dude. And I was laying there just with my skateboard in my arm, looking up through these trees into the sky. And I was like thinking of the girl I had a crush on and thinking about what we were going to do tomorrow at school. And thinking about my friends and like, I can't wait to, our next birthday, what should I get? All this crazy shit for like an hour, dude. But I remember it so specifically and vividly. It was like warm enough, but it was just a chill. And I had just enough clothing on. So it didn't like, I wasn't cold, but I wasn't warm. It was like really comfortable. And then I think my grandma called me like from the window, literally saying like food's ready. And I was like, okay. And that broke it. But I remember that memory so vividly, dude. That's one of my favorite childhood memories.
I love that. I think, and that's beautiful. I think the first thing I think of is my dog, Buddy. I just think of that dog in my life. I think what that dog meant to me. So like when you
what kind of dog was Buddy?
Pembroke Welsh Corgi. It was fluffy. It was big, and he was like also like a barrel-chested dog. Well said dog too early, so it's like a hard memory.
Yeah.
I have a lot of beautiful memories of that dog. The dog was like my best friend. What I think about a lot though is my summers were spent in Pennsylvania, coming up from Georgia. Grandparents lived in this town, Fleetwood, PA, and every summer, my grandma had a new bike that matched how tall I was or how, it was. And she got it at a yard sale. And the curbs of the street, a lot of curbs you go to, like these hard, like very square, like you hit them, you're going to go launch into the trash can kind of curves. Not in Fleetwood. In Fleetwood, there are these rounded curved ones, right? So you had like, every street was kind of like a half pipe. So you were jumping off and jumping. And I had this group of friends up in PA. It was like they were like every summer. It was like we were a pack.
Yeah,
we put together as one and tear up a small town. And so I spent every summer of my childhood in this beautiful town. My grandparents gave me that.
Wow,
and your story reminded me of that. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing that, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, what a cool question, dude. That was so cool.
It can't just be the two of us. I need one.
Mikey, we need one. We need one, Mike.
So I'm notorious for the worst memory in the world, but I don't have like a lot of like vivid like ones from my childhood. But the things I don't know why I remember most is like getting picked up from school by my great grandma. And I don't know, just like she'd like sometimes we would stop by like a bagel store and get like bagel buttons, and like that kind of thing. You like I don't know, like that store. Like in my mind, I can like visually see everything. You
felt like excited, right?
Yeah,
you were, like,
yeah,
happy
just
where
like
you were.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of less descriptive, but
no, man.
I wish I could remember.
The bagel
more,
buttons are very descriptive, dude. Very specific.
A warm little bagel button.
Yeah, in your tummy, dude. When you're young, bro.
Man.
Come on. Thanks for answering that one, bro. Thanks for answering.
Yeah. Thank you guys too.
That was cool.
What else we got?
I think I have one more and then I'm done.
Yeah.
Do you think fate exists, Danny Blanda? That's the last one.
Oh God.
These are hard-hitting questions.
We were talking technique. I was feeling like an adult, and now you've got me inwards, ready to cry.
Yep. I was just about to say.
I think fate has to exist. I think so.
Oh,
I think it's great. I think, for that, you're married. I feel like I feel like that helps me become being with my partner, my person, who I know is my partner, my person.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not fate because I didn't have any control of that.
Yeah.
I worked. When you love somebody or something so much and they're a part of your world, that feels like fate to me.
Yeah.
I know, like, I didn't know where I was going, and all of a sudden I got into one college because I applied to one school. I didn't think I had the grades to go. And then fast forward, because I got in, I went on this very interesting trajectory, and then doors keep opening at the opportune moment. Right when I'm at that very low point where I think it's ready just to kind of throw it in, something, the door opens, and I go, well, I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
It feels like fate. I had bed bugs. I was looking at, I was meeting with sales jobs that I wasn't qualified for. I was on my lowest day. And then I got an email 5 minutes after that I got into BU.
Wow.
And I was ready. I was giving up. I was like, okay, this is it. I'm done acting. I'm done writing, but I'm broken.
Wow.
I'm done with the work. I'm done with everything. I'm done. And then an email came in saying, here's an avenue for you to go on. That feels like fate. I mean, that was one of the lowest points it was so low about it. I realized that I'd been working so hard on one thing that I wasn't qualified for anything else.
Yeah.
And I was like, I lost myself. And then somebody said, go this way. That feels like fate. So
beautiful, man. I love that answer.
Simple, man. Yeah.
I love that answer, Danny. Damn, you poet. You're a poet now too, bro. Come on.
I'm just angry. It's just
That's what it turns into.
furious. I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know. Something.
For real, if you could say one thing to someone who's on the same, let's say the same road you're on right now, Danny, like you're doing so much, man. And I want to say I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
As a friend, I'm very proud of you. But if you were to look back and send the ladder back for someone who has an aspiration, is watching you right now, listening to you talk, and just is curious, man. Like I'm sure what you just said is gonna help somebody too on your hardest day. Look what came through for you. Your life would have been very different if it had. You know what I mean? So what would you say to that person who's on a similar road, maybe just a little bit behind?
Keep your figure. No. It's terrible. I think honestly, keep a sense of humor. Honestly, learn to laugh in those tough moments. Find someone you can go through with. You want to say keep going, but I don't want to say just arbitrarily keep going. Make a plan. Like, okay, you're in a tough situation. Well, what gets you a step closer, right? Figure out what that specifically is. Is it going to a seminar where you pay to be seen? Does that get you a little bit closer? Is it an opportunity you can put on your resume? Is it writing your own show and submitting it? And not just writing a show, but where do you send that show, right? Like one of the worst habits I had for years is I would just do a project and then, great, I did it. And then it would just sit there, right? And then the moment for that project could pass. Or I've lost confidence in that, what have you. Find those things, make a plan. It's what I didn't want to do, but it was the thing that helped me the most. Make a plan.
Yeah.
Like remind yourself that talent's there, that whatever that is, which we can't define. The drive is there, but like don't just spin the wheels. Find a direction you drive in, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautifully said, Danny. Anyone you want to shout out before we head out of here, dude? Besides Chelsea, of course.
Howdy. I want to shout out to you. You guys, in a very tough year, you guys cracked 2 years of this. You had a big blowout celebration for you. You kept going, and then you call up people like me and say, hey, let's have a great, very real conversation. One of the most honest conversations are those it's I appreciate that, so I want to shout out both of you very much. And thank you.
Damn.
Thank you. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep doing stuff. I'm very appreciative of everything I've got myself in. And I'm always excited to celebrate, especially from our years in New York, like those people,
Yeah.
I miss the days when we all sit in a terrible bar together, having a beer, terrible stories, and then
God,
there was no concern.
Danny, I felt like we were just like Fitzgerald and Hemingway and like a shoddy Paris bar, dude. For real, I thought we were something crazy. That moment was so special, and I miss it too, dude.
Those are the good days. We'll have them again.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I also, if anybody ever wants to just talk, give me a call.
Yes.
Give me a call. You want to talk? I'm here, and in a one bedroom in Boston, just slugging it out.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny.
There you go.
Thank you, man.
Danny, where can we read some of these articles? How do we find you?
Let's talk about my work right now. There are more new opportunities is this close. Maybe days away, hopefully.
Yeah.
But check out my work on BlueLineStation.com if you're a New York Rangers fan. Check out my work on thehockeywriters.com if you are want to be a Seattle Kraken fan or interested in that, or you just want to talk fantasy hockey. Take a look. Be on the lookout for Hybrid. Be on the lookout for another project that's coming out. I'm going to have a couple new plays. Stuff's happening, but yeah, check out my website, danielcblanda.com. It's all there.
Boom. There we go. We'll have everything in the description so you guys can click on it. Boom. Easy. Danny Blanda. Here we go.
Dude, go Rangers.
Any last words?
What?
Any last words?
Any last words?
Let's leave on what? No.
Hey, Danny.
Sometimes you just gotta not say anything.
Danny boy, you're one of my favorite people on this planet, man. Just because of who you are. I just love you so much, dude, for real. Thank you for doing the show, bro.
Yeah. Good to see you again. Good to talk again.
Yeah.
Boom. All right.
Until next time.
Yeah. Until next time, man. We're gonna have you back. You Are Here podcast, episode 108, man. That's how it is. You know where to find the podcast: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, video, Anchor.fm, www.hearpodcast.40. My name is Mike, and I'm signing out.
My name is Dave. I love y'all. Be kind to each other, please.
Oh, I say something. Be calm. Don't cough on anybody.
I love it. I love that part.
Daniel Blanda. Love, dude. Yes. What a podcast.